Hello friends, welcome back to the second strategy of this course. Now I hope you remember the Bollinger bounce trading setup that we learned in the Bollinger bounce lecture. There I explained how to trade Bollinger bounce, and in sideways market or when Bollinger bands are squeezed, we can get some high probability reversal trades. But we also saw a small demerit of the strategy, that profits were consistent but low. And also the reason for not trading Bollinger bounce outside contraction phase is that when trend is strong, then price tends to walk along the upper or lower bands. Now as said in trading, trend is your best friend. So the strategy which we are going to discuss in this video actually takes all the demerits of Bollinger bounce setup which we discussed earlier into the account, and here in this setup we ride the trend. The only difference between the strategy that we learned in the Bollinger bounce lecture and in this lecture is that in the lecture on Bollinger bounce we traded inside the Bollinger squeeze or when the bands contracts, while in this lecture setup we are trading outside the squeeze, that is when contraction phase ends. The beauty of this strategy is that losses are low but gains are big. And when you see the picture of your overall gains, then big gains overpower small losses that you incur when Bollinger band contracts. Let's see what are the rules of this setup and then see practical examples of the trading setup. So let's first see for the long setup. Well friends, this strategy works well for intraday or swing trades, and I have found 1 hour time frame is best for this setup. The next we use default Bollinger bands and RSI settings. Now after this we will wait for RSI to come above 60. And when the price closes outside the upper band, then we take our entry at the next candle. And finally we will sell when the price hits this mid moving average line. There is no stop loss here since our exit is dynamic at this mid moving average line. Friends, I hope the steps are clear. Let's see some examples to understand the strategy better. Now the first example is of HDFC Bank. Just notice the region represented by 1. As you can see here that RSI is above 60 and this long green candle closes above the upper band. Now this breakout candle confirms the entry at the next candle and we take our entry around here. As you can see with this breakout strategy that we ride the trend higher and exit it at around here where price crosses this mid moving average line or this mid band. So this was a good profitable trade. Next let's see this region denoted by 2. As you can see here also RSI was above 60 and this green candle gave a close above the upper band. This also gave a green signal for our entry at the next candle, but as you can see the trade didn't went as per our expectations. And we exited here making a loss. And friends, this is the beauty of the setup. The stop loss in contraction phase hits very fast making a small loss, but returns in the trends are big, and when you combine your overall profits and losses, then you will see in most cases you are on a positive side only. Now this is the backtest Excel sheet of HDFC Bank Limited from 2019 to 2024. You can see that this period has both COVID downfall and uptrend after COVID and another correction in 2022. As you can see from this backtesting sheet that losses are very small in percentage, but when trend resumes we get big gains. Though when you count number of losses, they may be more in number, but big positive trades overshadows these small loss making trades. Just notice how trades in red have small losses while green trades are generally big. And this is what the speciality of this setup is. Next friends, the best stocks for the long setup are the stocks that are trending up in long run. And to find this, just change the chart settings to weekly and see the long-term trend. If the stock is moving up in long term, then that stock must be in your list for this trading setup. Let's look at some of these stocks. For example, Reliance. Now look at this weekly chart of Reliance And notice the stock is trending up for last many years. Here you can also see the long-term uptrend for last many years. And lastly, in TCS also we have uptrend only. So these types of stocks are best for long trades under this setup. Yes, historical or previous movement of any stock or currency pair is not the guarantee of future movement, but you can do basket trading, that is, you can make basket of such stocks, say 4 or 5 stocks, and then trade with this strategy which will diversify the risk further. Lastly, another improvement you can make to this setup is to look out for only long green candles as breakout candle. And then only take entry at the open of next candle. Next, for short setups, the rules are just reversed. So for short setup, again the best time frame is 1 hour for this strategy. Then RSI should be below 40. Next, if the price closes outside the lower band, then we will take entry at the next candle. Finally, we will exit when the price hits this mid-moving average line. Here also there is no stop loss since our exit is dynamic at this mid-moving average line. Next, let's see a practical example of the short trade. So just look at this hourly chart of Reliance. Notice the region denoted by 1. As you can see, RSI is below 40 here and this long red candle gave a close below lower band. So this gives us a go ahead for the trade and we will enter at this next candle. And you can see we ride this trend up to here where we have to exit since price hits this mid-moving average line. You can see it was a good profitable trade. Next, look at this region denoted by 2. Here also RSI was below 40 and this candle gave a close below lower band, so we take our entry here. But to our surprise, price didn't move as per our expectation and we hit our dynamic stop loss here, that is at this mid-moving average line. But again, as you can see, since Bollinger bands were contracted in this region, our dynamic stop loss in form of this mid-moving average line hits very fast and we didn't had big loss. But on the contrary, when we ride the trend, the profits are big. Friends, hope the strategy is clear to you. Again, you can make the tweaks into this setup after testing the strategy in your charts and securities you trade in.